Welcome back. Now to another major decision from the Supreme Court in just the last 24 hours.
It says race cannot be a determining factor in college admissions. That case comes from a challenge to admissions policies at Harvard and the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. The 6 conservative justices ruled affirmative action violates the 14th Amendment. UC Davis Chancellor Gary May says the decision will lessen opportunities for underrepresented students. With affirmative action ending in college admissions, there's a growing fear in communities nationwide that there will be less opportunities for students of color, especially at some of the most selective colleges and universities.
And here's the deal. Colleges started considering an applicant's race back in the 1960s. ABC 10's Candace Reds explains why new at 6.
The way that this world is heading, I'm very worried for my son.
Sade Daniels, who lives in Sacramento, says she wants the best in her life for herself and her 3-year-old child.
It really just feels like taking large, huge steps backward.
Daniels grew up in Oakland and says she's faced hardships.
I was raised in foster care. In fact, so was my mother. I didn't feel good being Black. The social workers are white, judges white, like everybody that's in your life, these paid professionals who kind of make decisions for you, so many of them did not look like you.
Despite childhood challenges, she says she persevered by focusing on education.
And I'm about to find an historically Black college that I can learn and embrace my culture in a way that I wasn't able to as a dependent of the child welfare system.
Daniels earned a bachelor's from Philander Smith College in Little Rock, Arkansas in 2012. She went on to earn a master's from UC Berkeley in 2017. Now she's applying for doctorate of social work programs at colleges and universities nationwide, but she's concerned.
I'm very worried that without protections to check these institutions, then we are going to see larger gaps of who actually gets into these programs.
The U.S. Supreme Court ended affirmative action at colleges on Thursday. That means race is no longer a factor that can be intentionally considered in the college admissions process.
And not to say that I feel I staunchly need affirmative action to get into a graduate program, but it is to say that historically these schools have been incredibly discriminatory towards people like me. So I feel like affirmative action was, if anything, a safety net to ensure that I am at the very least seen in full.
It's not going to do much, but continue to separate those who have the resources, who have the networks, who have the connections, who have the legacies to get into the university from those that do not.
Dr. Christopher Towler with Sacramento State explains that affirmative action is policy that emerged during the civil rights era.
Really started in the late 1960s, following the Civil Rights Act of 1964, that intended to sort of level the playing field and increase admissions and opportunities for students of color, and at that time, particularly African American students, when it came to higher education.
Towler says other students benefit from affirmative action too, like
first-generation students, students that come from lower economic standings, working class backgrounds.
And it was disappointing but not surprising to hear of the outcome of the decision of the Supreme Court.
Dr. Art Pimentel is the president of Folsom Lake College. While growing up in Woodland, he says educational programs and services helped him tremendously.
I went through the College Assistant Migrant Program.
Pimentel earned a bachelor's and master's from Sacramento State and a doctorate in education from UC Davis.
And then there's the Educational Opportunity Program as well that also kind of helps support a lot of the educational goals that I had.
He says he remembers when voters in California banned affirmative action in 1996.
You saw less diversity. I think it behooves all of us to make sure that we are addressing the root causes of why there are disparities in higher education.
Affirmative action isn't about giving privilege to some and not others. It's righting a historical wrong.
Our coverage is just getting started. We'll have more on the Supreme Court decisions tonight at 11 on LNT.